Hello, my lovely audience. Anyway, welcome to another video. Now then, just gonna get a few things out of the way. First thing, I'm planning on making this fucked up. You have been warned. Second thing, I don't have anything I need to say. Okay, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'll probably remember at some point. With that said and done, let's get on to the what if. So, in this what if, Deku would be born with a sister, a little sister. Now, him and his little sister would be very close, very dear, and well, this would persist for majority of their life. But, well, also in this what if, Asashi is replaced with All Might. Well, at least with Izuku's sister Izumi. Enko did have Deku with Hasashi, but he was more of a one-night stand, if you can guess. Anyway, so, well, it would be the day for Deku to get his quirk, and they couldn't find anything. They don't know what his quirk could be. All they know is it's an emitter and a gas type. Well, it's an emitter type quirk that can produce a gas and or liquid. They have no idea how to get him to activate it or so on and so forth. So, Deku would be, well, just forgotten. He ain't got a quirk, so why should anyone care? Well, at least Izumi cares. She would get a wonderful quirk, the ability to, I don't know. Okay, let me think. Shit. She would get her mother's telekinesis quirk, except stronger to the point where she can break apart objects and reassemble them. Yeah, that's a good quirk. The ability to reconstruct objects with your mind. Think like your long-ranged overhaul. Oh, that would be an absolutely horrifying quirk. So, yes. But over the years, Izuku and Izumi would stay very close. Even though in middle school she could be a bit of a prick, she would always come to Izuku after to apologize at the end of the day. They are just so close and so inseparable. Which kind of makes Bakugo a bit angry since he's trying to get with Izumi. In this AU, Bakugo is like 2 years younger. No, Deku is 2 years older. So by the time they're 16, he'll be 18. Make sense? Makes sense. Yeah. In this what if Deku is 2 years older, still being treated like shit. However, until a few months before the anime, Izumi and Izuku were still in middle school, Deku, having the higher classes, higher graded classes because he's older. They would happen to be late that night because, well, Izuku had to deal with Bakugo's shit. As they're late, a man with a shotgun would come along and say, the two of you look like you're, school students. That means you probably have something worthwhile on you. Empty your pockets. I said empty your pockets. The two of them would not quite listen. Izumi, well, beginning to use her quirk, but the man has a racer quirk. Anywhere within, let's say, 10 feet of him, no quirks can be used whatsoever aside from mutation type quirks. As Izumi would realize this, the man, who has a bit of an itchy trigger finger, would pull the trigger, aimed at Izumi. Izuku, instinctively being the elder brother that he is, would push her out of the way, but get shot in the chest. Dying. Well, the man would realize what just happened and run away. He did not intend for this to happen, so he would just dip. Izuku, with blood coming out of his mouth and out of his chest, would shakily look up at Izumi and give her a weak smile before dying, his eyes almost closing, but not quite fully, as Izumi would see the moment where the light leaves his eyes and he's just looking at her. His dead body is laying there looking at her. Dull and numbed eyes, not even fully closed. She would try and call the ambulance, the cops, anyone who could help, anyone who could bring her elder brother back to her. Now, well, all these memories of Izuku, looking after her when their parents went on big business trips, when All Might was out doing his hero work, and when Inko was working abroad for a few months. Just these memories of Deku being there for her, legitimately being there for her, not her quirk, not her fancy-ass quirk. Him being there for Izumi. As she would get onto her knees, crying and shaking her older brother, just trying to get him to wake up. But he doesn't. Well, time skip a few days. Inko and Toshinori are talking. They're talking about whether they should have a funeral for, Deku. It costs a lot, and they just got a lot of money from the insurance claim on his life, so they could go on a vacation instead. Yeah, that's how little they cared for him. Yeah, him dying in the street from a shotgun blast to the chest makes... And they are only... Give me a moment. Sorry, cat. They were only worried about the insurance money. This is when Izumi would snap at her parents, yelling about how, he was there when they left on expensive business trips and were overall neglectful, bad parents. So this would snap them out of their stupidity, and they would have a funeral for Deku. They would be having it at a graveyard filled with white flowers, and him laying on a open casket with white flowers on the casket. Remember, this is a graveyard. As well, the announcer would, of the funeral would talk, Enko would abruptly stand up and say, "Can we hurry this along? He didn't have a quirk, so I don't really care. I want to, go shopping after this." Mitsuki would look at her friend in disgust, ready to slap her, getting up before they would hear a chuckle. Them looking around to see Deku's dead body began to move as his head would turn towards them and his eyes would open. Cold, dead, emotionless, thoughtless eyes. I think I had a better. His eyes would look like this as he would blankly stare at his mother before a weak smile would come across his face, giving him the exact same expression he had right before he died. As an unnatural cracking sound could be heard, coming from all around them as Deku's body would kind of convulse upwards so that he's sitting upright. He would then cross his legs as if he was a child. Same numb expression on his face, not saying anything. As a black miasma, which is, Google it, miasma, black mist caused by decay, would roll in. The scratching and the scratching would get louder as there would be a cracking noise and cracking noise. Give me a moment. All around them, as there would be a breaking noise, the sound of concrete shattering, as one of the graves would burst open. A clawed, skeletal bone hand would cling its way out, as a dead human with half their face fully gone and the other half rotting away would turn and look at them. His body is partially rotted away entirely, and where there isn't, and where there is flesh, the flesh would be rotting and black and green and gooey and ooey, as another cracking sound could be heard. And another and another and another, as the corpses would keep on ripping themselves out of their graves. Give me a moment. Cats, am I right? Little kid. Cat. But yes, as all these dead bodies would keep on clawing their way out, wherever the black miasma would go, or just miasma would go, the dead would rise. Now, time to explain Deku's quirk and how the undead look like. Simply put it, yes, little kitty cat, simply put it, the only way to kill them is to destroy their skull. That is the only way to kill something Deku resurrects. And if you don't destroy the skull, it will just keep on reforming and regenerating. And it will always regenerate to the point of the resurrection. So if he revived a deer that had its guts ripped out, the deer would not get new guts, but it would be able to, put back on its leg or regrow its leg, whichever's easier. And it would just keep on fighting painlessly until its skull was destroyed. Yes, I'm going with that version of undead. I'm not going with the soul cage ones, I'm going with the you have to destroy the skull to kill it ones. And yes, the same rules apply to Deku, meaning if you shoot him through the chest, he'll revive. If you shoot him through the head, he'll revive. But if you blow up his head, he's gone. So, yeah, same rules apply. You have to fully destroy the skull to kill. He would grab, the suit he's wearing, revealing the bullet holes, pellet holes technically, because that's what's That's what's in a shotgun shell. As the, metal pellets would fall out, covered in his blood. As he would look at them, still same expression on his face. Now still same weak smile. As he would say, "Oh, didn't even bother to remove the pellets? Ah, you're hopeless, aren't you?" As another undead would rise, its quirk would activate gigantism, growing to an absurd size. As it would begin clawing its way towards them, this undead had lost its legs. When it was alive, so it can't get new ones. It would just begin clawing its way forward as, well, all the undead would begin shambling towards the funeral, everyone running for the hills except for Izumi, who was just staring at her brother in shock. This was not him. Her brother was sweet, he was kind, he was always so polite. He didn't even... He even forgave Bakugo when he told him to jump off the roof. Well, that happened a bit earlier in this timeline. Yeah. This is not Izuku. This is someone else's quirk. This is someone's quirk trying to mess with them. Yeah, some deranged villain is trying to mess with them because this is not Izuku. This can't be Izuku. As Inka would grab her hand, dragging her away. As the smile on Deku's face, the weak, slight smile would disappear into a frown. So, they couldn't even let me die in peace, could they? I mean, I guess good thing my quirk activated. At least Izumi still cares. As a hooded figure would walk into the miasma, alerting Deku. He knows whatever's going on in the miasma, it's kind of like extended sight and hearing and feeling. Just like imagine all 5 senses are in the miasma. He can feel things, he can taste things, he can see things. And he can hear things. As the hooded individual would begin speaking, "I'm sure you have a lot of questions, like how I knew this was going to happen or why I'm here. But I am here for a proposition. You see, I have a quirk that lets me read others' quirks. And from right now, I can see your quirk can fully control the dead. Now, on to the second part of Deku's quirk. You remember me saying he can produce a fluid earlier on? Well, he can produce this platinum silvery fluid that upon coming into contact with a skeleton, even just a hand, will reform the person's body and essentially bringing them back to life in perfect health, not as a shambling undead, as a living human with thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and all their memories from when they died. So, yeah, the person's body is fully repaired. Paralyzed people can walk, people missing limbs get their limbs back. It's basically total control over death. As the person would continue their sentence. You can raise people from the dead, both as servants and as fully fledged members of society. Isn't that wonderful? And I know you can hear me, even though I may not be near you. Now, I bet you're wondering how I knew this would happen. Simple. I have someone with a foresight quirk. It tells them major events, and this could be considered major. The resurrection of an entire graveyard within the span it takes someone to sneeze. How interesting of a quirk. Now, I have a proposition for you. You come with me and join a little thing I've been working on. It, or you just lay here and just live with your sorrow. Just sit there, moping. As Deku would ask, what's the offer? As the hooded individual would say, look, I'm gonna be quite brash here and say, you were mistreated by society because everyone thought you didn't have a quirk, and when it came, it turned out to be this. So, why don't we fix society? Why don't we change it? Your power could, well, bolster our forces, as you could say. I am, well, my name is Kurugiri, and I would like you to join the League of Villains. LOV for short. Deku would kind of raise his head a bit. LOV? Oh shit, I just remembered that Kurogiri can't exactly see quirks. You know what, for plot, I'm saying there's a second man who can see quirks. Yes, for the sake of plot and continuity, there's a second man whispering into Kurogiri's ears what to say. There's just like this midget on his shoulder whispering into the brace. He's, okay, you got him good. Now, say this and this and this. Now compliment his ass. I went from like edgelord to class clown in 15 minutes. No, not even, like 5 seconds. Yes, Kurogiri has this little gnome on his shoulder. Like this little gnome Nomu telling him exactly what to say. But yes, with that tangent aside, let's get into, the more sane, well, more edgy stuff. Give me a moment. Yes, let's continue now. So, yeah, for the sheer sake of plot, there's a gnome. You know what? Never mind. Fuck it. It's all for one. Yes, it is just flat out all for one. In this field of miasma, it's just all for one. You would say, my name is all for one. Now then, look. I'm not gonna make any brash decisions here, but you could do what I did back in my early days of, well, quirk wrangling, and start a cult. You know, that could help with your entire situation, and you would get funding from me and the LOV in exchange you're a part of our group. How does that sound? Deku would, look at him. All for one is now like 10 feet away from him. Deku would look at him and say, why would I want to start a cult? Especially one revolving around you. You look worse than one of the undead I raised. All for one would laugh at that comment. Oh, that is... I have not heard someone speak to me so brazenly before. Oh, I like that, kid. But you want to protect your little sister, right? Well then, you join us, You can protect her all you like. We can make a world where, she'll be safe. You'll be safe. You two could live together. You know, you could watch her grow up like the proud brother, parent figure you are. A world without heroes, that, cock things up. Remember the hero that. Remember that heroes um, couldn't save you or your sister from that man. So join us. Deku would look at him and say, first of all, cut it with the accent there. You're getting less inspirational by the moment. Second of all, how do you know about those things? And third of all, you really haven't been doing a good job here. Ah. Okay. Clearly my normal tactics won't work on you, so how about this? You start a cult and, about me, all for one, and in exchange you get fed, paid, live with the League, do a bit of villainy here and there. You'll have all the corpses you could ever need, and, look, just join us, please. I'm gonna just be brazen here. You seem blunt and straightforward in your current state. Just join us. I would like to have my cult started back up again. It would be nice, especially with someone who can fully control the dead. That would be very useful. And we have dental and all the health benefits you could ever need. So just join. Just join. I don't know how to make my sales pitch here any more blunt. You need somewhere to stay. I need someone who can raise the dead and to run my cult. Potato, potato. It's beneficial for the both of us. It's a mutually beneficial business arrangement. That's as blunt as I can put it. Deku would look at him with his dead eyes before saying, yeah, sure, whatever. Not like my old folks are gonna take me back after that entire mess. Not that I want them to, but yeah, sure. He would shake off one's hand and they would go into the portal. Yeah. Anyway, goodbye, my lovely, lovely audience. I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you next time, and I had a lot of fun with this. I know it got a bit cuckoo at the end, but what do you expect from me? I am the living embodiment of cuckoo. Cuckoo on the cuckoo clock. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.